It's pretty common for projects to require a front-end form. That is a form that's displayed on the public end of things, like outside of the control panel. Might still be behind authentication, but it's not within the administrative control panel. So there's a few ways to do that. Now let's take a look at how we can. So using our videos module, following along with our videos module, let's take a look at how we can do that. The first thing we want to do is create a video create route. So let's open up our add-ons service provider and register that route real quick. And I'm going to name it. I like to name all of my public routes. And we'll use the create method. Now let's open up that controller and create the method. Oops. Okay, so the easiest way to do this would be using a table builder, and just the same that you can use table builders in the control panel, you can also use table builders anywhere else really, and you can use the one that's generated when you use make stream. You can use your own. I'm just going to use the same one for now, just as an example. And I'm going to skip the, let's do set skips. Actually, just in case there's skips that are already on the builder, let's just do skip field. I want to skip the poster to disallow uploads, and I also want to skip categories because I'll do that after they submit it. Okay, and we'll also set an option for the redirect, and we'll redirect to videos. Okay, so now if we load up the videos / create URL, we should be seeing a form. Oops, 404. Alright. Cache issue, sorry about that. Just reloaded. I had some cache going on from prior, but let's see, if we create a video now, then we are redirected to videos. Okay, so that's one way to do it, and that's definitely a perfectly fine, awesome way to do it. From here you can start setting options like the wrapper view or form view and kind of customize things the way that you want. Very easy to extend this way, but it's just one of really two good ways to do forms. So the next one I'm going to show you is using the form plugin function. So to do that, I'm going to delete this stuff, and we're just going to return a form. I'm going to call it create, and let's see here, let's go and make that view. Just going to copy and paste one, and we're extending the default layout, and in here let's just make sure that we're good to go here. Cool, so we're seeing everything. Let's add a breadcrumb real quick just for consistency. Let's see. On a meta title, and if we reload, there, looks a little bit better. Now within our, we can go ahead and close this. We're done there, and we're done here too. So let's close the service provider. So what we're going to do is use the form function, and we're going to pass it our namespace and our stream slug. And let's see, I'm also going to set skips. I'm going to skip that poster. I'm also going to skip categories. And let's see, I'm going to break the line here so that it's easier to read. We need to escape this. And I'm also going to set the redirect to videos. And this basically equates to set skips on the form builder. This, because the method doesn't exist, it defaults to setting the option with the key of redirect and the value of videos. So I could do other options that way too, and I could set other properties this way. For example, if you wanted to set fields or set sections on the fly, which typically you would do that in a builder, and I'll show you how to use builders from the form function here, but just as an example, that's how things work, and there'll be some other videos down the road that'll go into that in more detail. So let's see here, we've got a form, we're skipping poster and categories, and we're redirecting to videos. Let's reload. Cool. So let's check it out and make sure it works. Test form function, blah, and that's good to go. Cool. So works just the same. So maybe we want to customize this a little bit further and get into rearranging this stuff a little bit, and this is how you would do that. I'm not going to get too far into this because there's a lot of detail here, and it requires its own video. So this is just going to be kind of a rough introduction. So what we're going to do, the form function returns the form criteria, which has a toString magic method, and that's what causes that form to render when you don't call anything. So if we do set form equals basically the same stuff as before, except we'll use get, and this is the trigger for the criteria that returns a form presenter. And if we take a look at the form presenter, you'll see that it decorates the form object. It's got an open method, close, it's got render fields, render actions, and then you've also got access to all of the, because it's a presenter, it passes missing attributes and missing methods back to the actual object, so you've got access to all the fields as well. So let's take a look at what that might look like. So if we just output the form as a string, you'll see that we have the form still, and that's because the toString method in the presenter renders out the form. So what if we want to show, let's just do a form.open, and that'll run the open. That's basically the same as doing this. Let's close it. And let's see, form and fields. So now we're accessing the fields collection. Let's get the title. Actually, let's get the video. And let's just output that raw. And we'll have the video field. And this is the field type presenter, so if we run the input, then we'll just get the input. Or if we get the label, then we'll just get the label. Or if we get, let's see, required, yep, will be Boolean. So you can start working with the things in your own way and building out your own HTML. You can use other you can use the form sections, for example, if you want to. This is just one way to work with things. For another example would be the input name, and so you can easily create your own input and use the input name to build out your own form. So let's go back and take a look at can't remember if that'll, let's see here, we've got the video slug. So let's just do for field in form fields. This is just a super rough example. Field.label. Just to kind of show you how you can override things, and even though you're using these components individually, you can still create with them. And the same would be if you use your own inputs and use the input name, for example. Oh, you know what? We forgot the actions. So what we can do is at the bottom, we can make our own submit. So at the bottom, this will actually submit the form. And then we can also do something like form.render actions, or we can use the literal method name like this, and we'll have those down there. Now we'll be able to save and create just like normal. So either way, with the button or render actions, it works all the same. So this is just kind of goes to show you, kind of scratches the surface of what you can do with the form function here. And one last thing before I finish up this video, I want to show you how you can use the same method, and for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to output the form. I want to show you how you can do this same thing but use a form builder instead. So let's use a string here. Let's do my form, and I'm not going to do these here. In fact, let's just do this. My form. And if we reload, we're not going to get anything. My form doesn't exist, and you'll notice that it says class my form doesn't exist, and that's because we didn't specify a namespace and StreamSlug. It's going to look for a builder, and you can either pass along a literal builder name here, and don't forget to escape it because you are in Twig, or what I prefer to do and what I highly suggest others to do is to bind your form builder to the appropriate string that you want to use. So back in our service provider, let's go down to bindings, and let's do my form, and this will be the video form builder class. Okay, and because again we wanted to skip the poster and categories, and we want to set the redirect, and we can set this on the fly as well. It just so happens that it's usually easier to store the stuff in the builder, but you can always customize things on the fly, like I just showed you as well. So these are kind of going to act like default values unless we override them. And we'll just redirect to videos. And when we reload, we should get that builder just fine. So that's how we can use a builder. And this way, what you can do is you can define some on posting or on saving, or you can define a custom form handler, or custom video form sections or video form options. Different handlers to handle a lot more logic and customize your builder and your form behavior. But you can still use it on the front end very easily because you've bound it to an alias. So that about wraps it up. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments below. And until next time, see you guys.